All right, gang. Welcome to another bit of our Magic Arena content. This week is something special. We're starting something called Budget Deck Tech Tuesday. Now, what that means is that every Tuesday we're going to release a deck that is at or below $50 to build and play. This way, if you're looking to get into the game, it's a nice, easy jumping off point. Now, these decks, they're not decks you would take to maybe like a Grand Prix, but they're a solid combination of cards to take to like an F&M, or if you just want to play with your friends and you're trying to take your game to the next level. So there's it's a cheap deck and you're gonna win some games with it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. The main core component of the deck is Grey Merchant of Asphodel. I figured for our very first bit of content, why not play one of my favorite cards? Back in Standard a couple years ago when this was first reprinted, there was a mono black deck that just crushed everything. There was another mono blue deck that they would butt heads often, but man, it was nice to play these Grey Merchants and just ping them away. Now, the other core components of the deck are Nightmare Shepherd and Ayara. So Ayara gives us a little bit of card advantage because she can sack creatures or draw cards, but also every time you're playing creatures, you're going to ping them for 1. Nightmare Shepherd is really cool too because every time your creatures die, they come back as 1/1s. Now they're tiny little minuscule creatures, but the important part is that they come back with all their abilities. So say Grey Merchant dies, it'll come back as a 1/1, but you'll still get its enter the battlefield trigger. Some things on the lower end is Knight of Ebon Legion, just a solid 1-drop. Gutterbones, a lot more recursion, keeps coming back. Yarok's Fenlurker is pretty awesome. When it comes in, it makes them exile a card, so it's better than discard. They're going to exile it, so maybe they wanted to get rid of an extra Uro or just get cards in the graveyard for Uro or anything else. This was going to exile it. Tymaret, also another good card against Uro decks. A little bit of removal, Grasp of Darkness, Order of Midnight. I really like this card. It's a 2/2 flyer, but it also gets to bring back a card from the graveyard. So it's going to help. If we could late game, it can let you get back a Grey Merchant, or if you just want to get some value early game, pick up one of your one drops that died. And then we have Kitesail Freebooter here. This one is interesting because it's the bane of this deck is going to be board wipes. You're going to want to be playing your creatures and letting them black mana symbols stay in play because the Grey Merchants are going to do a ton of damage when it resolves. So if they play a lot of cards that say destroy all creatures, that's no bueno for us. Now, the Freebooter lets us look at their hand and take a card from it, so we can take their Shatter the Skies or whatever else they're trying. Their Extinction Event, that's another big one. So we can protect our creatures there. And then finally we have Demonic Embrace. This is kind of nice against other aggressive decks. We'll give one of our cheaper creatures flying just to push some more damage. That way we can get these Grey Merchants to push the final bit of damage through. Sideboard here, nothing too crazy, just some removal, some disruption, some mass removal for against other aggressive decks. So this deck, it is a budget deck. It's about $51. Here's some ideas to keep it as like upgrades. Keep in mind for upgrades. So maybe if you have it in your binder or if someone's trading, maybe think about this for the future. I was thinking of Liliana Dreadhorde General. I really like that card, and it's nice because a lot of your creatures feel like they're just chaff, and you can turn them into other cards. Another card I really enjoy is Ugin the Ineffable. I'm not sure if it has a home in this deck, but it's permanent removal that deals with like enchantments and artifacts. We also have Fiend Artisan is another card that I would love to put in this deck and see what happens because it is double black. But it is a little bit pricey, so I decided to keep the deck at $50, so that's something in the future maybe play around with or just build up towards to put in your deck. I do like maybe some Ashioks in the sideboard. They get rid of graveyards and they mill them. Your opponents. Murderous Rider would be another great upgrade because you could probably put those in place of these Grasp of Darknesses because they are removal plus their creatures. You could always throw in some Fabled Passages instead of these swamps to thin out your deck a little bit, and then all Fabled Passages are going to be played in a ton of decks, so investing in those early is a great idea. It feels like they're going to keep it in the format for a long time. They did reprint it in Core 2021, so it's going to be legal for a while. And then I also was thinking like Bolas's Citadel somewhere in the deck because it has 3 black mana symbols and it lets you play cards off the top of your library, so it's a lot more card advantage. And then another neat feature of this deck is that after rotation in the fall, this deck doesn't really get hit that hard. Now, we do lose some of the 2-drops, but 2-drops and 1-drops. But the important part of the deck is Grey Merchant, the Nightmare Shepherd, and Ayara. And then everything else can kind of like you could replace it with other things. But the core of the deck is still going to be here. And then Castle Locthwain is a really cool card too. It's just a land that lets you draw cards. I'm really excited for the new Zendikar set in the fall to give us some new lands, and maybe they'll be added to a deck like this. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and run this through a couple of matches, see if it is good, bad, or ugly. Can't really go wrong with Grey Merchant. It's definitely won me a lot of events back in the day. We'll see if it wins me any events now, but it's definitely a card I want to play before it rotates out again in a year. This hand looks solid. The Knights are really nice because they let you sink mana into it whenever you're not doing much. And it's going to be a great blocker against this 1/1. If they play an additional Fervent Champion, that would kind of suck because they'll buff each other. Otherwise, like a Runaway Steamkin would be okay. And then the neat side effect, Ayara also drains. It's not just the deal of damage. That's the same with Grey Merchant. They both drain. They don't just deal the damage. So that should be a good incidental life gain from those cards during this match. So they used up their Bone Crusher Giant on the first night, which is fine. We have another one. We can play Ayara next turn, drain them for 1. Have another Bone Crusher. That's fine. They're just kind of like moving along. The Bone Crusher is a 4/3, so our Ayara is not big enough for that, but that's fine. If we can get this Nightmare Shepherd to stick, that's going to be awesome. And it's a 4/4, and they already used up 2 of their shocks, so I think we might be okay there. This is an interesting attack. They could have the Rimrock Knight, so for 2, give it +3/+0, or they could have an additional shock. I think that it's more worthwhile. It's a much better choice to not block here. This way we can get the Nightmare Shepherd down and then block next turn. Alright, Steamkin. That is fine. And light up the stage. Ooh, solid. So let's go ahead and get down this Nightmare Shepherd. Drain him for 1. So we are more than likely going to be blocking with this Ayara, so we do not want to attack. We just kind of want to get our black mana symbols in play, hang around until we hit a Grey Merchant. Like if we draw a Grey Merchant next turn, that's going to be solid. It's 7. It's a 14-point life swing. But they also have, they could. It looks like they do have a way to deal with this Nightmare Shepherd. But we get to we get to cycle it because we can sack it with this Ayara. Then again, we don't get to block with the Ayara, but yeah. So do we want to sack it to draw a card, and then we'll be able to block the Fervent Champion? I don't think it's worth it. I think we want the card. Then I think that since that's actually the much better decision, because when that creature dies, the spell fizzles and he can no longer play it as a 4/3 because it didn't resolve. And they're just stuck with 2 cards in hand. This Fenlurker is going to take 1 out of it. Okay, they're going to play a Bone Crusher Giant. So at this point, we are really searching for a Grey Merchant. we're draining them here and there. That instant, that's when you gain 3 or 4 life so far. It's definitely going to help. They did, so they drew all 4 Bone Crusher Giants this game, which is definitely good against our deck. So sometimes you just can't beat the perfect draw, and you just kind of have to blame it on variance and move on. No reason to get tilted over something you don't have any control over. I think that we want to keep this second Ayara because we're going to block with it this turn against something, and it's more than likely going to die. What did they exile? They exiled a Robber of the Riches. So it looks like we just want to soak up a little bit of damage here. They more than likely have a red spell in their hand. Yeah. Ooh, Ember Cleave. That's solid. So, I do not believe that puts us at dead. Oh. We still will get their Fervent Champion, which is good. We lose IR, which is fine. Freebooter, you're turn late. Oh, man, because then we could have took their Ember Cleave. So let's go ahead, put this Ayara down, drain him for 1, play the Freebooter, drain him for another 1. And then we can trade. So we're at 12 here. At this point, we do not want to trade the Ayara because it's what's going to keep us in this game. Maybe we will. Maybe that's 10 damage. So, I think the Freebooter is just going to block here. And we're just going to take our 10 from Bone Crusher. The Grasp of... Yeah, that's game. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to beat 4 Bone Crusher Giants. So, let's see. We want to cut the Freebooters. We want to... We'll probably cut this Demonic Embrace. What do we want to bring in here? I do like these Heartless Acts. A Cryocanarium doesn't sound terrible. We could board 1 of those in. Yeah, I think that'll fill out our deck. It's kind of neat because we stayed in that game a little bit longer than we should have because of all that incidental life gain from Ayara. But, I mean, if you figure if we'd have hit 1 Grave Merchant, we'd have been able to do some... We'd have been able to give him the business. So this order cannot block. This hand feels really weak. But it has lands and spells. I feel like we can do a lot better than this. Yeah, so this isn't like that much better, but on a 6 it's fine. We'll keep the dual or the man land. And the Castle Locthwain will probably be able to keep us in this game. Ooh, Order of the Midnight will be good if they have a Bone Crusher Giant to deal with our creatures. So we're going to go ahead and leave this Knight of Ebon's Legion back to block, and if it dies, we can pick it up with this Order of Midnight. What is that? Alter Fate is the actual card name. There's Sweet Elspeth Sleeves. I always thought this thing up here reminded me of like Blue Eyes White Dragon, and it's got like the shining eye. Oh man, so I think we're, even though this is a pretty bad attack for us, I think we're still, oh man. So that it's like, now it's a really bad attack. Well, good thing we boarded in that Cry of the Carnarium. If we can hit that Cry of Carnarium, then like, 3-for-1 them, that'd be great. We're going to trade off here just to soak up some damage, and then we can Order of Midnight it back to our hand and just play it. Tymaret. So, let's go ahead and see what we planned on doing. We'll get the Even Legion back. We'll play it. And then next turn we can play out our hand. We can go Tymaret and Order of Midnight. Play like a big blocker. I mean, we are going to take 6 here, so that's a little rough. It's just, it's a little wild. They drew 4 Bone Crusher Giants first game, and they drew 3 Fervent Champions this game. And an Embercleave. Oh, man, I did not think we can come back. Yeah, it's just sometimes the opponent's draws are just really powerful, and especially these red decks. I mean, when they fire on all cylinders, man, they go. So Heartless Act is an interesting one. I think that might be able to keep us in this game. Because we can, at the beginning of combat, we can kill the creature that is equipped with Embercleave. So let me see here. Guess I think we're in pre-combat main phase. It's a little hard to tell. I guess we'll find out what phase we're in. If they go to equip it, then we're in their main phase. Yeah, so we're still going to block here with Tymaret. I mean, there's plenty of cards they could have to just blow us out. And actually, they have a card on board, so it doesn't even matter. That taps them out, though. What do we want here? We probably... Gray Merchant would help out a little bit. Another piece of removal. Order of Midnight is not going to do it. All right, so that's our first game in the books. Did not go as planned. I feel like our deck did pretty well, but our opponent's deck just did better than we did, which is going to happen. We'll run it through a couple other matches, see where it takes us. Yeah. Still have yet to see a Gray Merchant out of those couple of games. I think maybe we could, if this deck is not the greatest against aggressive decks, we could tune the sideboard to be a little bit more life gain and deal with creatures and just focus towards the aggressive decks with the sideboard. Alright, this hand looks solid. 1-drop, 2-drop. And eventually Nightmare Shepherd. So Gutterbones is going to be neat here, just to get it to recur a bunch. Let's go and attack, damage in. We'll play Tymaret. Let's go ahead and play the Fenlurker. So that way, Tymaret has a little bit more value later on. Ooh, okay, so they're getting rid of the Ugin, so this is the Sultai ramp. So if they decide to kill one of these creatures here, if they kill the Fenlurker, we can get it back with the Order of Midnight, which is solid. Another Nightmare Shepherd. Alright, let's get our beats in. And let's throw down a Tymaret. Put some more pressure into play. And then if we hit land, turn 4 will be great because we can play Nightmare Shepherd. So That's fine, because then we can just bring it back with our Order of Midnight if we don't have a land. Uro. That's fine. They're not close to getting it from the playing it from the graveyard, escaping it. So let's go ahead and return Tymaret. We can play the Knight and attack for 3. I just hit the A button. There's another game I play online, Legends of Runeterra, that you just hit A and they all attack. I think the Eternal card game you do that too. So I'm just used to playing other card games and all the hotkeys. Narset, that's fine. We don't really draw. Other than Ayara, I don't think we really draw that much. The more important question to us is whether we want to kill the Narset or attack them directly. I think the Narset gets them closer to answers. So I think that's what we want to do. Kill the Narset, hit them for 1. Because we do have these Nightmare Shepherds to play a little bit of a longer game. This Ayara is nice too. So we can trade in the Gutterbones for cards every turn. If we had a little bit more mana. I do want to get this Nightmare Shepherd down, but we also got to be cognizant of the Uro coming back. Because if a 6/6 Uro lands, it's going to be very hard for us to deal with. But we do have quite a bit of power in play, and they're kind of not doing it. I mean, this Thought Erasures, they could take the Tymaret, which is fine, which is probably their choice here. So that puts our clock even. We need to be even faster, because once that Uro comes into play, it's going to be hard to come back. So we're going to cycle another Uro. That's fine. We really need to hit an additional land here, so we can play this Nightmare Shepherd. What are we doing? Top or bottom? Bottom or top? Oh, concession. There we go. The mono black army. All right, so we want our Agonizing Remorses, and they're probably bringing in Extinction Events, or they have some in the main already. So I believe that we want to bring in additional freebooters here. So we don't need our Demonic Embraces. Grasps aren't going to do a ton unless they play the 2 mana. When you draw a second card, you make a 2/2. They'll probably play that, so we'll leave 2 in for that. What do we want to shave here? We can man, all these cards are pretty good. So let's get rid of an Order of Midnight. We'll get rid of a Fenlurker. We'll get rid of 2 Fenlurkers since it's not like targeted removal. And then probably it's one of these 2, either Shepherd or Ayara. And I think Shepherd might be the... Well, this flies. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get rid of Ayara. Let's get rid of 1 Ayara. So when you can go up the curve on this deck, it feels good. Sand does have 2 1-drops and then a 2-drop. We're on the draw. Has high upside. The deck has, what, 24 lands? Man, this is a toughie. If we hit land, like, I don't know if we can lose this game. We're up a game. You know what? Let's risk it for the biscuit. Let's do it. Let's do it. Awesome. Never didn't have it. So we want to play the 2/1. Oh man, that's great. And now if they play that 1/2 that lets you draw an addition, or whenever you draw an additional card, you make a 2/2. It's like Jolriel. We can grasp it, hit him for 2. Otherwise, we could just progress our board a little bit, play the knight. Yeah. And even if if they spend some removal on this, that's perfect because the knight will be able to bring it back the following turn. So this is an interesting draw. I think I'm going to play the Freebooter this turn. Yeah, this way it's a little bit more mana efficient. But we need to hit our 3rd land drop here, and that way we can resolve an Ayara. If they use a bit of removal on this, that's perfect. Yeah, because we got bombs coming down the line, so their hand's double Uro. Okay. It's a little bit hard to work through because those Uros are going to gain them 3 and then ramp them, but fortunately it's the only things they have. There might be a point in the future where we go to block, or he blocks with Uro and we can neg4 it. Awesome, there we go. There's our 3rd land for Ayara. And then every time we play an additional creature, we drain them for 1. And if they just want to, cycle their Uros, I did it again. I hit that A button. If they just want to spend their turn cycling Uros, putting lands in play, I'm fine with that. And then, like I said previously, this Ayara can draws a bunch of cards through the longer game with this Gutterbones. Nissa, that's definitely a good draw.
Protect the virtue of this world.
This only hits players.
Harness the elements.
So what do we want to do here? We can go... We can kill their forest, play a Knight of the Ebon Legion, hit them for 4. The Knight will get a counter on it. And then we can try and burn them out with Grey Merchant in the long run. But they're also hitting us for 3 each turn. Yeah, I think we just gotta press them. We can play the Knight. Because even though they make 3/3s, we can... we can chump block for a minute, and eventually this Grey Merchant will kill them. Or at least that's the goal. The other drawback to not hitting Nissa is she's going to make them a bunch of mana this turn, so if they drew a Hydroid Krasis, that's definitely very scary. So they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. They have 9 mana. But either way, we weren't going to kill Nissa, so they were going to get that double mana. This way, we put a little bit of pressure on them, and our Knight gets an additional counter. So this doesn't look good. This does look like a giant Krasis. For what, 7, so they'll gain 3, draw 3, and it'll be a Gigantor jellyfish. Oh, it gets even bigger because they're gonna tap it for this. Gonna tap this for mana. So what, for 11? Ooh, that's gonna be brutal. But it's not detrimental. We can hit land, play Order of Midnight, get the Kitesail Freebooter back, take a card from their hand, and then the following turn play a Grey Merchant, and then hope that that's enough. Yeah, there's a giant Krasis. Ugh. So we did not hit the land. That is unfortunate. So let's go ahead. We'll try and get our damage in. If they decide to block, we can sack it with Ayara. Either way, something somewhere is getting sacked with Ayara. Okay, that's fine. Still did not hit a land. Oh, that is unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like We're not going to be able to beat this board. We're gonna scoop it up. Let's go to game 3 and see how it goes. So boarding here, nothing really. I kind of like what we're doing. We want our Noxious Grasps for their Nissa. Let's go ahead and get 3 of these in here. Let's shave. We'll shave these grasps, and we'll get rid of another. Let's see. Maybe the Freebooter didn't really do a whole ton, but this gets rid of Nissa as well. So let's go ahead and shave Nightmare Shepherd and see where it goes. All right, so we're going into game 3 here. Let's see if we can just curve out 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. We also may be boarding into too much disruption. This hand looks great. So that might be something to be cognizant about whenever sideboarding, is that there's bringing in too much hand hate and too much disruption. But I feel like this Sultai deck, like a lot of those, like you can play a lot of hate against this deck. So, or at least our sideboard. So we can go Fenlurker. We'll go Fenlurker into Ayara. See what the eggs. That's probably a land. Maybe no Narset. That's fine. Get rid of their card advantage.
Overwhelming.
Let's see if they have an eliminate for our Yarok. This art looks kind of cool. He's just like walking through the swamp, and he's like a tree dryad figure. Perfect. So let's go ahead and slam this Ayara. And if we can hit land into Nightmare Shepherd, that'd be great too. So that way their removal gets much worse as the game goes on, or they have to focus it on Nightmare Shepherd. Which I think Eliminate is 3 or less, so Eliminate will not get it, but the Heartless card will. Heartless Act. Cultivate, that's fine. I mean, as we really need to hit a land here just so we can get to this Gray Merchant. Gray Merchant mana. Alright, awesome. Big bucks, no whammies. So, let's go ahead, push some more damage through. And then this definitely puts us in a great position. Go at 4s. Oh man, this exiles. Oh no. It exiles. That is unfortunate. So let's go ahead and get some more black mana symbols into play before we play this Gray Merchant. And then this can get rid of 2 cards in their bin. Let's just go ahead and do that now so we can auto pass for everything. And then next turn, if they decide to play something, tap out or whatever they want to do, we have a Gray Merchant to slam. Eliminate, that's fine. Burrow, that's also fine. We already got rid of some of their cards. So this Gray Merchant is going to hit him for 5, 6, 7. We're going to hit him. Oh, another Gray Merchant. Oh, that is great. The Great Merchant. Oh, man. All right, let's get him. And then this will be lethal for next turn. So even if they kill Ayara, we can... even if they kill one of these creatures, this Gray Merchant will win the game for us. So at this point, we're hoping they play a Nissa. We also have this Mobilized District to threaten 3 damage. So they could play Extinction Event. Okay, that's fine. Hopefully they just play... so that puts them at 7, and we're only going to do 6 to them. because the Gray Merchant hits him for 2, and then the Gray Merchant will ping him for 4. So I think that might make... We can fire up this district to hit him for 5. This is an interesting one. Yeah, because this way if they go to play Uro next turn, we could Noxious Grasp it and then hit him for 4. So let's go ahead and put him at 1. Yeah. And then hoping that their play is a bit of removal, reanimate Uro. That would be okay. Because then we can Noxious Grasp and then Order of Midnight back a Gray Merchant. Alright, what is the play here? They're at 1. They also have 4. They have 4 in the grip. Man, it's leaving me in suspense. What do you got? Put the cards on the table. Yeah, so they do not have enough to reanimate this Uro. So they're in a big predicament here. They need to get 2 cards in the bin somehow. Or they just play a giant Krasis. They go to, what, 3? Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and kill this Krasis and kill him. Good game. Woohoo! Mono black in the books. How about that? How about a $50 deck beats a couple $100 deck? Kind of neat, huh? Ooh, we're in platinum now. Mythic, here we come. Awesome. All right. So that's 2 games in the book. We'll do 1, maybe 2 more, seeing how it does, and we'll wrap it up and talk about what add or take away from the deck. All right. So we're back here for our 3rd match with Mono Black Aggro. We're 1-1 with this deck. Let's try and get into positive results here. This hand does not feel good. We're on the draw. I'm going to keep it. I think it's okay. We can Freebooter on 2. If it dies, okay, awesome. Drawing land there is very good. Are we playing the mirror? Look at that land. Oh, that's a nice land. Now we're playing blue-black something. Well, let's go ahead and find out. Blue-black. Kitesail Freebooter. Show me what you got. That's fine. Blue-black removal. This is kind of interesting. That was weird because last time it didn't let me target. Oh, because it wasn't a non-creature. Okay. You don't get the card because the Freebooter dies, but you still get to look at their hand. Agonizing Remorse. There's some good ones. Probably, yeah, I mean, they're looking at Ayara, but that's what I would probably pick as Ayara. So hopefully they pick something else. Maybe just they want to shave it. Okay, awesome. And the bad part is that it gets exiled. Demonic Embrace. I don't know if that's going to be very good. Let's go ahead and buy back the Freebooter. This way we can steal that Nissa out of their hand before they can play it. So we can steal the Nissa and play Order of Midnight. And then we can also equip this, the following turn, equip this Demonic Embrace to try and kill this Tamiyo. What did they name? Let's see. They're probably, what, searching for like an Eliminate or something? Extinction Event. Okay. Narset. They missed, though, which is fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and Freebooter that Nissa out of their hand. Perfect. So they just have a Narset. They do have 6 cards in their bin, which is pretty scary because they can get their Uro back, but they do not have the proper mana. They don't have double green. Let's see. What are they gonna? Probably just play that Narset. A good draw would be the Tymaret. If we could get that Tymaret into play, we can steal the Uro out of their graveyard. Ooh, Casualties of War. So that's 6 mana. They have 3, 4, 5. Ooh. They do not have double black though.
The past is never forgotten.
Eliminate, eh? So, what do we want to do here? It looks like they're trying to eliminate the Freebooter. Doesn't look like any of this is good for us. So let's just go ahead and get our power into play. This is actually pretty bad against Casualties of War because this is an enchantment. Yeah, that's fine. They don't have double green. So that's at least an upside.
You are setting a
They don't have double green, they don't have double black. If their hand is
to the library.
choose a non-land card, that's fine. We're definitely in a dicey situation, but I think that if we can make it through this turn, we should be alright. So, ooh, Extinction Event. No, because it exiles. Man, that's so good. Oh, just a solid 2 for 1.
Meditate and prepare.
But I guess, fortunately, at least they're not hitting the right color mana they need. Another Heartless Act. Oh, no, they did. They had the land all along, so. Let's put some black mana symbols into play. This definitely is not looking good. It's not looking good for the home team. Yeah, because now they can just Heartless Act the Ayara. And they're still at 19. They're about to play. Yeah. We're just going to go ahead and clean it up here. Even Gray Merchant can't pull us out of this. So, let's go ahead and bring in the Noxious Grasps. Agonizing Remorse looks great here. And then I think I do want these Freebooters. Well, no, well, the Freebooters can hit the Extinction Events. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go ahead and shave. Let's shave 2 Shepherds since their removal exiles instead of destroys. This Demonic Embrace isn't going to do much. Grasp of Darknesses can go. We'll get rid of a Fenlurker, a Ayara, and then what's the last cut here? Probably an additional Fenlurker. Yeah, I kind of like Fenlurker as a disruption. We'll get rid of an Order of Midnight. All right, come on. See if we can draw well here. This hand looks good. This hand looks good. The Tymaret will be good. We can play it actually on 4 if we want to play it and get rid of cards in their bin. Put this Fenlurker down, exile a card in their hand. Or they exiled what Nar said last time. Let's see what we say. Oh, Casualties, that's good. Yeah, that's a pretty good discard by them for us because we're probably going to be playing a longer game here. All right, let's take a peek. See what you're working with. Well, definitely some solid cards. This is everything is just such like it's very recursive. I guess the thought ratio lets them surveil one. Let's go ahead and take that, I suppose. But them ripping our hand is okay because we have these Castle Locthwains that are gonna give us some card advantage at some point. If they want to go, awesome. So this will let us resolve this Nightmare Shepherd. Otherwise, if they did this Agonizing Remorse, they would have taken the Nightmare Shepherd. This is CMC 3 or less. So let's get the Shepherd into play. We'll make this Narset. If they decide to tick down, then we can start using our Castle Locthwain. So this, yeah, Heartless Act will get rid of Nightmare Shepherd, unfortunately. Awesome. So now we can start turning on our Castle Locthwain. Ooh, that's a good card. I love that card. Lots and lots of lands. I think we want to draw a card here. If we hit a 1-drop, we can play it. That's a good draw, too. This way, next turn, we can play this and draw a card from Castle Locthwain. Maybe not. So that means this turn we'll probably get down both of these cards. Oh, man, we need to stop drawing these lands. We could also pump. Yeah, let's go ahead and activate this ability. We will snag a card from their hand. And then the Fenlurker. Oh, man. So, what do we want here? Their hand is a bunch of removal. Man. How do we beat a bunch of removal? By just drawing additional cards. So, what do we not want them to have? We do not want them probably to play this Tameo on 4. Yeah, that's probably what we want, is to not let them have any more card advantage while we're trying to draw 2 cards a turn with our castle.
You cannot see your folly.
That's fine, they'll take the Tymaret. Looks like they did not draw a land. They could cycle their... Oh, they did draw the land. So they can save their Narset here, which actually would be pretty good for them. Because it's going to be a minute until I can actually connect with this Narset. Oh, man. Play the Knight. Play our land and pass. So we can activate this castle on their turn. That's not a terrible play. That's fine. Eliminate. We can go ahead and activate this now. I'm not sure what we could draw to save this, but just in case. More land, that's fine. Oh, no. Okay, so there's the 5th land. Go ahead and start getting back some creatures. Nightmare Shepherd. Play the Shepherd. And then we're going to pretty much force them to play the Extinction event by playing this Order of Midnight. That's fine. Got 2 for 1. Freebooter, there we go. Okay, so this can steal that Nissa out of their hand. The boon, though, is going to draw him 4 cards, which is rough. But I'd rather take the threat than the
I
unknown.
must seek comfort in the land.
And then we can draw a card on their turn. Casting this for 6 does make it so they use their whole turn doing that, and then we can get the Narset killed. So I mean, if they hit a bunch of lands here, that's fine. Let's draw our card. Ooh, Gray Merchant. That's not a bad one. If I could click it properly. So at this point, I don't think we want to use this Gray Merchant. We just want to get a little bit of card advantage here. Oh, Freebooter. Let's see what they drew. That's a great draw. Great draw. So their bin, they do have enough to play that Uro, which is a little bit scary. So they can Thought Erasure away this Gray Merchant. Looks like they might have drew some removal. Oh, come on. Disfigure. And then they can Heartless Act away the other Freebooter. Man, that sucks. And then they can actually play this Nissa as well. Ugh, we needed those 4 draws off of that cycle card to be bad. That's rough. So what are we at? We're at 9. This will put us at 7. Their attack will put us at 4. Okay, this Noxious Grasp deals with the Nissa, though. And we'll gain a life, and then we can play this Gray Merchant to gain a little bit. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get rid of this Nissa.
Fight on without me.
Play a Gray Merchant. They'll steal the other Merchant from our hand. With them playing that, they cannot play the Uro and play the Uro escape cost either, so there's a benefit there for us. We can bounce off. The Narset's kind of good because it turns off our castle for our turn. Awesome, this is good. So, we probably just want this Gray Merchant. Or we can take the Freebooter and steal that Nissa from their hand. It's a tough one because they're at 18. Yeah, we need to take that Nissa from their hand. So we'll play the Freebooter. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4. So that's enough to play this. And then we can attack that Narset down. And then we can draw a card with the Castle Locthwain.
This is overwhelming.
So if they want to spend their whole turn doing Uro shenanigans, that'll be kind of okay for us. We need to hit another Gray Merchant, though. And those Uros are going to let them draw a bunch of cards, too. That's a little scary. Yeah, they're getting their hard cast and their Uro. It's fine. Resolve, resolve, resolve. I mean, at this point, we need them to hit. We need them to drop pretty poorly. Oh no! And they had the removal for the Freebooter. Ugh. Do they have enough to play Nissa? They do not. So we really need to hit another Gray Merchant, I guess. I think that would be a solid draw. Land is not good. Okay, there it is. Great. So there's Gray Merchant. This Order Midnight cannot block, so it's fine to put it there. And then let's draw and see what we hit. Land. Oh, come on. So we will have to chump block this Uro.
Seek shelter in my stewardship.
Fortunately for us, Uro is legendary, so they cannot get 2 in play. They could misplay, play the Uro, and sack the incorrect one. There you go. That's a way we can win this game. Good thing about Gray Merchants is that they can block the 3/3s here. So we'll have to chump and then bounce. We'll bounce off of each other. And then we'll have to draw. We'll have to draw something good. I don't even know. And we've played, what, 1, 2, 3. We played 3 Gray Merchants. Oh, man, that might just be it. Yeah, because we have to block the Uro. Not looking good for the home team. So this can get rid of the Nissa or the Uro. I think we have to get rid of the Nissa here.
My strength fades.
Alright, let's draw. Into order. What can we get back? We have... Looks like we should be able to play another Gray Merchant. If I click the right card. Take a Gray Merchant. Oh, no. Sorry, I messed that one up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think we're going to come back from this one anyways. Oh, man. That did not feel good. But their deck had a lot of removal in it, so... it feels like probably their version of that Sultai mid-range deck would be very bad against opposing Sultai decks, just because there's so much removal in it. Let's go. Let's play another match and see where it takes us. You know, it's pretty funny the other day. We have it's a hybrid card that plugs in, and I felt like, you know, the model American citizen. We went to Whole Foods down in it's pretty far away. It's like a 45-minute drive because we needed to get some real particular ingredients that are just not going to be found at like Walmart. And we went down there, we were able to plug in our car. We were at the Whole Foods, you know, and we had reusable bags. The model citizen here. We got some chia seeds. Alright. And up the curve we go. We'll go to Freebooter, into Ayara, into Nightmare Shepherd. I don't think we can lose this game. Heartless Act. Yeah, I think that's probably what we want to take. Because we don't want them being able to pick off our creatures. In their hand, the Cultivate ramps them a little bit, but us going first, definitely going to do... we're going to be able to be much more aggressive. Like on their turn 3, if they just want to play a Cultivate, I'm fine with that. Yeah, this curve is awesome. Play your Cultivate. What's this? This is... Ooh. Well, that's interesting then. So let's just go ahead and play Nightmare Shepherd pre-combat. So looks like they have removal for Knight of Ebon Legion. We can go ahead and sack it to Ayara. Yeah, I think that might be what we want to do. Just get a card out of it. Ooh, Demonic Embrace. We'll be able to push some damage through with that. Yeah, so they did not play their Cultivate, so they're not ramping too fast. There we go. There's the Cultivate. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because now this Ayara can sack creatures to the Nightmare Shepherd and make some 1/1s for us. What do we want to do here? We're probably just going to want to resolve another Nightmare Shepherd. Yeah, Yeah, let's do that. Let's just apply pressure. At this point, the only card we're really afraid of is Extinction Event. And they do not have the Extinction Event. So this will put them up to what? 12 life? Or no, it puts them up to 9 life, and then we have 4, 8, 10, 11 power in play. They're probably just trying to dig for some kind of an answer. This Demonic Embrace is going to be really nice too. So we just kill them in the air, 4, 8, 9. They're dead on board, so. Awesome. Well, like the first game with Mono Red, it's really hard to lose a game when you're curving out like that. So we definitely want these Noxious Grasps. We want the Agonizing Remorses. Last game, those Freebooters didn't feel very good because they're just so easy to kill. So we're gonna cut them this game and see what happens. The Demonic Embrace, not gonna do much. These Grasp of Darknesses are gone. And we gotta shave one more card. Probably this Nightmare Shepherd. It's just not gonna do much because with all their removal. And at least this Ayara can maybe draw us a couple cards here and there. Yeah, so we're going to try this without the Freebooters. Even though they can snag like Nissas and other harmful planeswalkers, I think that they're too much of a liability. So this hand looks good. We can go Ebon Legion into Ebon Legion, into Ebon Legion Pump or Ayara, depending on what we want to do. If they play that Llanowar Emissary, we can do that. Ooh, another Ayara. Solid. Because I assume the first one's going to die. Alright, Thought Erasure. That's another good reason for the second Ayara, is that they can... It's Thought Erasure proof. Okay, so they took away my turn 2 play, so hopefully I can rip a turn 2 play. Unfortunate. Hit him for 1. A lonely old 1 damage. Ooh, so what, they snag the Nightmare Shepherd, or they take an Ayara. That's fine. I feel like this game in particular, we would really want a Gutterbones. Oh, look at that. Got him. You take it, and I'll just draw another one. Very good. So what, they're going to eliminate the Ayara, maybe? Oh, Extinction Event. Dang, so that gets both of them. Definitely a great draw. Ooh. Let's get... so we can't play Gutterbones and Ayara because we don't have enough blacks for it. So let's just play Nightmare Shepherd. He's also a 4/4 flyer, so that's also great. If they have Heartless Act, that's pretty good. Next turn we can resolve an Ayara. Ooh, Fairy. His plan's probably what, to phase out the Nightmare Shepherd. Okay, cool. Yeah, phase out the Nightmare Shepherd. And now we can play our hand. Go Ayara into Gutterbones. And this is actually a sweet combo because the Ayara can sack the Gutterbones multiple times and keep getting it back. And we have a Nightmare Shepherd threatening them. We got a Nissa coming down. Hydroid Graces, okay. 3. That's not too scary. Seeing just how our Shepherd's a 4/4. And we have 2 cards that can kill this to Fairy. what's our play here? Do we want to attack? No, we do not want to lose the Ayara, so... We also can activate Castle Locthwain. So he blocks there, so we can sack it with Ayara to draw a card. Do we want to make a 1/1 Gutterbones? I don't think so. I think bringing it back again would be a better option. So we'll decline that. I needed to activate this Castle Locthwain, but I never got a chance. I don't have full control on, so.
I must have missed something.
Let's activate. Perfect. We got another play. Bring him for 1. I'm just putting pressure on the board for him. 2/7. Take that, Hydroid Krasis. Uro. What's your Uro gonna do about my 2/7? Ooh, Noxious Grasp. Solid. So... let's go ahead and Noxious Grasp the Uro. Play our land. We can fire up this Mobilized District. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hit him for 11. No, I think we just want to get some more card advantage. They probably have some kind of removal. Or we definitely want to get rid of their Uro in the bin. So we'll attack, attack. And then we can exile Uro to Fairy. And we can play this Gutterbones. Perfect. And then the Ayara can sack the Gutterbones if we'd like to draw a card. So at this point, like a Gray Merchant would be brutal. I think they have to leave the Krasis back to block. I think we are going to sack this Gutterbones to Ayara because we need... They're getting a wall of defense here, so we need to... Oh, that's interesting. So they're at 9. They did not leave up any mana, so let's think about this. They're at 9. If they block the Nightmare Shepherd, we can hit him for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's just lethal. So we don't want to sack the Gutterbones. Yeah, we'll just kill him. Or oh no, dude, we can win with Gray Merchant instead. That's what 1, 2, yeah. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it, boys. Here we go. Boom. Tenya. Got him. Oh man, that's a great way to end a game. That's awesome. Yeah, so you can see this deck definitely puts up a fight against these Sultai decks, Sultai mid-range, Sultai control decks. Yeah, so for $50 you can't really go wrong. Let's take a look at the deck. So I think maybe if we sideboarded a little bit better against the other Sultai deck, I don't think Freebooter is like a good in that matchup just because of all the removal they play. Otherwise, you know, maybe we could put Midnight Reaper in that place. But Murderous Rider, I feel like I definitely wanted somewhere in here. So that's, you know, that's a couple of $3 or $4 upgrade. That'd be great. I was thinking Liliana Dreadhorde General just because I really like the card, but I probably don't want that. Was the 4-drop Liliana? That might be good in the deck. can't remember exactly what it does. There it is. So each player discards a card, which is good. Removal. Yeah, maybe when we want this somewhere in the deck. The sideboard. It's 2 black for Gray Merchant. Yeah, so I could definitely see that somewhere in the deck. And then probably Bolus of Citadel's too much mana too. Not really what you want to do. And then Fiend Artisan. I would love to see Fiend Artisan. Probably 2 Fiend Artisan instead of these freebooters. But other than that, that is your budget deck tech for Budget Deck Tech Tuesday. Be sure to come back every Tuesday and see what we got for $50 or less. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Thank you.